Hello friends. So in this video we will discuss about the disease, the most important disease of rice, brown spot of rice. So I have already made a video on the rice blast. So if you are interested you can check out that. So in this video we will discuss on the symptoms of brown spot, then causal agent, etiology, the favorable condition that is favoring the disease, its disease cycle, and ultimately the management practices. So let's start. So first the pathogen. We all know that the pathogen that is causing the brown spot of rice is a fungus. So it's a fungal disease that is caused by the fungi Bipolaris oryzae. Okay, its perfect stage or teleomorph stage is Cochleobolus miavinus. Old name Helminthosporium oryzae. So all these three are same only. The causal organism of brown spot of rice, Bipolaris oryzae, Cochleobolus miavinus, Helminthosporium oryzae. The nature of the disease is seed and airborne, both. Okay, it's a seed-borne and airborne fungal disease. Okay, next about the historical background. We know that this is why it is very famous, because it is the reason or the cause behind the Bengal famine. You might heard about the Bengal famine, because 2-3 million people died because of starvation. Actually what happened, the story behind this. So generally in the Bengal region, what happened, the rice variety that were grown are both susceptible to the brown spot, and it was also affected by the drought. So drought actually predispose the disease to the brown spot, and that is leading to the heavy yield loss, ultimately causing this Bengal famine, death of that much people. Okay, it is occurring almost every all rice growing area. If you simply visit the field, you can get these symptoms. Okay, it's one of the oldest known rice disease, and it causes significant yield loss as well as quality loss. So we will discuss how the quality loss of the rice occur through the infection of rice brown spot. Okay, so you have to remember this. This is the cause behind the Bengal famine. When this Bengal famine occur, this 1942 to 1943. Okay, next about the economic importance. So yield loss, it causes around 10 to 40% yield loss, and in severe condition it may goes up to 50%. Then it affect both seed germination as well as seed vigor. Then it causes grain discoloration. This is the quality. It reduces the lower market value as well as grain quality. What happened here, you can see this, the grains, the husk as well as the grain, both will become discolored. Okay, that is called as pecky rice. Pecky rice means specks are there, spots are there. Okay, so this is the main reason. This is the economic, this is the economic degradation, that is this called the economic degradation caused by the disease. Next, etiology of the pathogen. So about the pathogen, as I have already told you, this is a fungi. So this fungi obviously produce mycelium. So the mycelium is septate, and it is of 1 second. So the mycelium is septate, means it is having cross wall or septa. Then the color is brownish. Then about the conidiophore. Conidiophore is the structure which bears the conidia. Okay, this is the conidiophore. This means this rod-like structure. This is the conidiophore, and above this the conidia are there. So the conidiophore are also similarly like the mycelium. It is also brown and septate, and simple type means no branching will be there. And conidia are dark brown, cylindrical, and 6 to 14 septate. So you have to remember. Okay, then about the conidia are typically shows bipolar germination. The pathogen name is Bipolaris. Why it is Bipolaris? Because of the bipolar germination. So what happened? If this is the conidia, both the top as well as the bottom, both the cells can germinate. That's why it is known as Bipolaris. Okay. So this is about the pathogen. Septate mycelium. Color is brown. Both the conidiophore as well as mycelium. Then conidia are dark brown, cylindrical with multiple septa, that is 16 to 14 septa, and with bipolar germination. Okay. Next, about the symptom. So it affects most of the aerial parts. First, on seedling, what it cause? It causes seedling blight because of the earlier infection. Okay, because the seedling is weaker, so if the infection is occur early, it lead to poor establishment of the seedling as well as causing the seedling blight, total blightening of the seedling. Then on leaves, this is the typical symptom. Okay, so on leaves, what you will observe here, you can see the spots will be circular to oval in shape, and it is of brown color with grayish center, and it is surrounded by a halo. In contrast to this, what we have discussed in the rice blast condition, the spots are spindle shaped. Okay, this are tapered and are tapering. Okay, so here in case of brown spot, the spots are circular to oval shape, brown color with grayish margin, brown margin with grayish center, and a yellow halo is there. In case of rice blast, yellow halo was not there. Then the lesion may coalesce and causing the leaf blight. This is about the leaf symptom. Then the ultimate economic part, it is affecting the grain, and what it causes, the black spots on glumes. Okay, causing grain discoloration, shriveling, poor grain filling, lightweight seed. So this is symptom on grain and panicle. So what it is affecting? It is affecting the seedling. Then in seedling condition, it is causing the seedling blight. Then in case of leaf, it is producing the typical leaf spot symptom, brown leaf spot with grey center and with a yellow halo. And the shape of the spot is oval to circular. And in the grains, it is causing discoloration. Okay, brown typical black spots on glumes. Next, the disease cycle. So in disease cycle, three things you have to remember: primary source of infection, secondary source, and mode of spread. So primary source comes from the infected seed, crop residue, and alternate grass host. Secondary source of infection is the conidia. Okay, and mode of spread, how the conidia spread? It is spreading through the wind, rain splash, irrigation water. Okay, if even in the exams, in the written exams also, if it is asked that write the disease cycle, you can mention directly these 3 points: primary spread through the infected seed, crop residue, and alternate grass host; secondary through the conidia, and this mode of spread is through wind, rain splash, and irrigation water. Next, the favorable condition. This thing you have to remember. Okay, the temperature is favoring the diseases 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, relative humidity more than 90%, frequent rainfall and cloudy weather, then deficiency of potassium, nitrogen, and silicon, and drought stress plant are more susceptible. This is the reason behind the Bengal family. Remember this. Okay. Next, the management, most important thing. So in management, 4 major parts are there. Means 4 major sections you have to remember: cultural, biological, chemical, and few resistant variety you can remember. Okay, most are common resistant varieties for blasts, brown spot you can remember. Okay, so for cultural practices, as you all know that this is spread or the primary source of infection is the infected seeds. So we should use certified disease-free seed. Then remove the residue, use of balanced fertilization, then proper drainage. Whenever you are means thinking about the cultural practices, just remember the primary source of inoculum. Whatever the primary source of inoculum, you have to manage that in the cultural practices. Okay, correlate like this. Then about the biological management, so use of living agents like the fungi, the trichoderma viride 4 gram per kg seed, or else you can use the bacteria Pseudomonas fluorescens also. Then about the chemical practices, so this is a foliar disease. So as it is also spread through the seed contamination, so you can do the seed treatment. For the seed treatment, you can use the carbendazim or therum 2 gram per kg seed. Mostly seed treatment, if you are doing seed treatment, means most for the most of the chemicals, most of the fungicide, the recommended dose is 2 to 3 gram per kg of seed. Okay, remember this. And then for the foliar spray, this is the common chemical used for the most of the foliar diseases, the spots types diseases. Okay, the foliar spray of mancozeb, propiconazole, carbendazim 0.1 to 0.2%. Okay, so this is about the brown spot of disease, brown spot of rice. So we will also prepare a quiz on this brown spot, important question that can be asked, MCQ as well as assessment reasoning type, in the next video. So if you want to get the questions on rice blast disease, I have already uploaded the quiz. You can attempt that. Okay, so thank you for watching.